Before Star Wars would come up with the volume, James Rolfe had an even more revolutionary way of filming special effects, known as the green screen in his basement. Jesse Shade here for Awfully Good Movies on behalf of the JoBlo YouTube network, and ever since my very positive 2015 review on Angry Video Game Nerd the Movie, as a huge fan of James Rolfe's internet work, things have certainly changed in quality for the nerd's work, and not always for the better, as judging by the existence of certain Reddit threads about his show's recent quality. Still, as an internet content creator who has been in this business almost as long as him, I cannot find it in me to talk smack about him behind a keyboard when his work has got me through so many periods of depression, writer's block, and boring computer graphics classes in high school. Still, I can understand why Angry Video Game Nerd the Movie is as exhausting for some people to watch as it was for James Rolfe to make. So please take my younger opinions with a grain of salt as I take you back to the past to talk about the shitty movies that suck ass in this pocket-protecting episode of Awfully Good Movies. It's time to celebrate a new year of Awfully Good Movies by taking a look at a guy who helped set the standard for us online critics who like to make fun of bad entertainment, the Angry Video Game Nerd. Ever since James Rolfe started taking us back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass, he's racked up millions of views on YouTube and one dedicated fanbase which I hope does not want to kill me by the end of this review. So in the tradition of the Three Stooges or any token SNL character, it only made sense for Rolfe to take this character from 5 to 20 minute chunks to a full-length motion picture. And with over $300,000 of funding raised by his fans, he did exactly that by co-writing, co-directing, co-producing, and starring in last year's Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie. Now this is really a risky proposition, to go from being a critic of shitty entertainment to potentially becoming a creator of shitty entertainment. I should know, when I made the Awfully Good Movie, that was a devastating failure for me. It is my duty as a film critic to take this, the only copy of the worst movie ever made, and destroy it in the fires of Mordor. But even though I consider the nerd to be a great critic, I am going to take my bias out of it and tell you whether his feature film debut is a shitload of fuck or the fucking shit. So let's pop this fucker in and see what's up. So anyone vaguely familiar with the nerd's history knows the one shitty video game that tons of people have asked him to review, the infamous video game adaptation of Steven Spielberg's E.T. for the Atari 2600. Well, in this flick, the nerd has gotten tired of the constant requests for a review of E.T., or E-E-E-T-E as it's spelled in this movie to avoid copyright shit. That's one of my favorite Spielberg movies, by the way, right behind Jurassic Park and Lincoln. So the nerd decides to travel with his buddy, played by Jordan from the Bernie Mac show, all the way to Alamogordo, New Mexico, where he hopes to debunk the famous myth of the 1,000 or so unsold ET cartridges buried there by Atari after the game's failure, as sponsored by an executive from a video game company that looks to release a sequel to the game known as Cockburn Incorporated, whose logo looks oh so suspiciously like one of the Angry Birds. Subtle satire of the video game industry. But soon they're spotted by military general Dark Onward, who believes that the trio is hunting for an actual extraterrestrial.
Goddamn terrorist alien hunters blow their nuking asses out that shit and back again.
So the nerd is on the run from the army and soon discovers that there's far more to the story of the ET game than he thought. Namely that the game acts as a map to the hidden location of Area 51 where an actual alien is locked up.
Ooh, we have an alien now too, huh?
And that, my friends, is just the top of the many plot details that intersect in this flick, which I thought were really going nowhere in the first hour or so. At that point, I was thinking that for a show as gleefully silly and crazy as the nerd's is, his movie version seemed pretty straightforward and standard and kind of boring. Thankfully, the second half really ups the craziness level to the point of saving the movie. You get an intergalactic super being who gets woken up and attacks Las Vegas Godzilla style.
Death Moth 6 is a cyber mutant death god living under Mount Fuji. He created both God and Satan.
You get the evil general livening up the proceedings by delivering the best kind of bad movie overacting that 300 grand can buy.
Get me Xander! Is that the landfill I want in my life?
And to top it off, you get the dude who voiced Michelangelo in the original TMNT movie as the voice of the game's titular E.T.
So why'd you come to Earth?
I was looking for intelligent life.
Well, you found it.
I found life, yes.
Oh, that's funny.
And all of it gets done with the joy and charm of the bad movies that James Rolfe himself loves so much. The cheap miniatures, the awkward editing, and the transparently cheap use of CGI and green screening. On the level of bad movies that know exactly how bad they are, this flick has got more to offer in one frame than Machete Kills had to offer in 100 minutes. I admit that this flick doesn't really offer much to anyone who isn't a fan of the Nerds videos. Then again, it was never really meant to. But as far as fan service goes, it's well-made fan service, with a good heart at its core and which stays true to the Nerds mantra in the movie.
True wretchedness is too unique to duplicate.
Well said, sir, as this is one bad movie that truly understands the joys of not just bad games, but bad movies as well. If you consider yourself a fan of the Nerd, give this flick a try. Now it's time to drink some Rolling Rock, but I'll leave it up to you whether or not you want to drink it on the Rollin' Rocker.
I'm drinking Rollin' Rock on the Rollin' Rocker.
And play the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time you spot an altered company logo. Because apparently Sunsoft isn't okay with having their name on this movie, but perfectly fine with having it on Fester's Quest. You can find another reference or callback to a previous Nerd episode.
What the hell are all these fucking boxes doing here?
Oh, don't you talk about my boxes.
I'm gonna land the plane.
This is gonna be it. Finally gonna land the plane.
You spot another cameo from the likes of one of the Nerd's fellow internet critics, E.T. game developer Howard Scott Warshaw, or Troma mastermind Lloyd Kaufman. Wait a minute, if Lloyd Kaufman cameoed in this movie, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy, does that mean that the angry video game nerd is part of the Marvel Universe? And yes, I do feel stupider for making this joke. And take a double shot for the 2 times General Onward loses one of his arms. And yes, there is a Monty Python reference.
Don't worry, son, it's just a flesh wound.
I love it when the movies do my job for me. And on the nudity watch, we sadly have no nudity, but we do get an exploitative catfight which hilariously acknowledges how exploitative it is.
Now, I thought I could get through this without objectifying myself in a sexy catfight, but it looks like that's impossible now.
Well, now I feel guilty for having a boner. I mean, I still have one, but I'm not happy about it. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Angry Video Game Nerd the movie manages to escape getting shit or thrown up on and scores a 7 out of 10. Congratulations, nerd. You have made a good movie and proved the justice of your culture. Now go and rest, our hero. I'm Jesse Schaefer, JoBlo.com, and you know what? That nerd sure gets a lot of views. So I think I ought to give this video game reviewing thing a try. Stay tuned to JoBlo.com for the first episode of our new series, Awfully Good Games! Fuck this game! Fuck this fucking game!
JoBlo, he sure likes to drink a lot. JoBlo watches movie like the hero man. JoBlo, he's not just like the summer Hayek. JoBlo gets fucked up and he throws some shit.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.